What's up, YouTube? Capital G here, checking out more new revealed cards from Rage of the Abyss, the core booster set coming after the Infinite Forbidden. And this card is really interesting because this, unless I am mistaken, is the first Blue Eyes card that actually supports Exodia of all things. Well, I guess specifically, like to be more accurate, Millennium, which it's interesting because when you bring up Blue Eyes, people think Seto Kaiba, and then when you mention Exodia, we traditionally think Yugi Moto, but Solomon Moto, Yugi's grandfather, granddad Yugi, grandpa Yugi, whatever, he's actually the one character that kind of crosses over the two themes because if you remember from the anime, he has Exodia in his deck, and he also happens to have the fourth copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon. In fact, that's what the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! DM is about. It's about the whole, Kaiba wants to get the fourth Blue Eyes, so he never has to duel against it. Heart of the card, stay duel, yada, yada, yada. And it's cool because they turned Solomon's Blue Eyes into a support card for his archetype. And this is one heck of a support card because it makes the entire theme just significantly better. Keep in mind, this is the cover theme from the Infinite Forbidden with the new Exodia and all the Millennium cards, and this is one of those. So this is Blue Eyes of the Heart. It has the same exact stat line and pretty much all the makeup of Blue Eyes White Dragon because it is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Again, it is Solomon's copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Even got a little bit of a different art. It's always treated as a Millennium card that is Solomon's archetype, or that's like his theme. So the Millennium cards are all his theme from Grand Championship and like the later arcs in the show. You got three effects on this bad boy. The first is a hard once per turn, and the third effect is a hard once per duel if you have activated the Millennium Ankh, which for those of you who just forgetting, that's essentially the fusion spell card for the new Exodia stuff. It's not technically like a fusion summon, but it does summon a fusion monster. So you basically, again, that's the Exodia fusion card. First effect, you can discard this card, add one Millennium Ankh from your deck. Second effect, possession of this card cannot switch. Third effect, which is really awesome and kind of unexpected, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster or monsters whose level is 8 or higher and or with 3,000 or more attack while this card is in the graveyard, you can send that monster or monsters to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. So this card is excellent, and I guess we'll just kind of get the second effect out of the way because I think that's just supposed to be like a callback to the anime where, he didn't want to give up his his Blue Eyes White Dragon, whether that be to Kaiba, whether that be to Rebecca. Like, that thing is so sentimental to Grandpa in the show that he'll never give up that Blue Eyes White Dragon. So that's why control of it can't switch. And who knows, maybe you use the second or the third effect, and then your opponent has like triple tactics talent. They won't be able to essentially take this card with the snatch steal effect. But the first and the third effect are obviously what make this card so good for the new Exodia deck because number one, it's just a massive consistency boost. The new Exodia archetype, like the turn one setup can be very strong. It's not the strongest thing in the world. It doesn't compare to Snake Eye or anything like that, but the new Exodia is very powerful. However, you're not really doing all that much if you don't have Millennium Ankh, and now you have another consistency card that essentially just lets you get to that card. And keep in mind, like all the new Millennium cards, they all kind of work better if you have Millennium Ankh in your hand. So now you just have another way to get to easily the most powerful spell in the deck, which basically makes the whole thing run. And then the third effect is just a free disruption effect from the graveyard. So now your turn one setups with Exodia, you could potentially just add another piece of disruption for free. You don't have to do anything. Your opponent summons some big boss monster and maybe like a Chaos Angel or something like that, or some other Guardian Chimera or whatever, and you just get to activate the effect. You get to send that card to the graveyard, and you get yourself a big body on field that your opponent cannot take control of. Again, if they have something specifically like talents or some other way of stealing a monster, that's not going to work. At least you have a monster that, if nothing else, just serves as like a chump blocker. It's a hard once per duel if you activate the Millennium Ankh, which you're probably going to activate it because you probably searched it with this card, but it's still a nice disruption. So overall, I think that this card is like a mandatory 3 of in that deck. I think the only real downside is now there's almost no reason to run the new Exodia stuff on release because you're getting such a powerful consistency card like 3 months later. So I can't in good conscience be like, oh yeah, totally play the Exodia. I mean, you could pick the stuff up, but there's really no reason to play it without 3 copies of this card. So, after Rage of the Abyss comes out, obviously you'll be playing the deck at like full power. But yeah, this is just one of those cards that gives a deck consistency, and also gives it another disruption basically for free. So this is like an automatic 3 of. But let me know what you guys think of the card. Leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always.